This girl is going to her boyfriend's house in the evening to surprise him. She didn't tell him that she was coming because she wanted to catch him off guard. She feels excited, eager to see the look on his face when she suddenly shows up. But when she finally reaches his house, she shockingly discovers there's a loud party going on inside. She becomes confused. Why wasn't she invited? Curious, she looks through the door. To her horror, she sees her best friend inside, taking multiple drugs. Even worse, her best friend is making out with several people. She feels frozen in shock when she sees her best friend kissing her own boyfriend. Her heart breaks, and on top of that, she notices her boyfriend hanging around with drug dealers, laughing and having fun with them. The person she thought was honest and kind, the one she trusted, is nothing like what she believed. Because of this betrayal, she feels destroyed inside. She decides she must stop seeing him. She promises herself to stay away and even thinks about how she might get back at him for what he did. Welcome back to Movie Now. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. The movie begins by showing us Nicole, a 17-year-old high school student. Nicole lost her mom a few years ago, and now she lives with her father, Steve, and his new wife Laura. It's been years since she has been part of this blended family. Nicole is shown as a kind person. She respects others, she studies hard, and she tries to do the right thing. Her best friend is Margot, a girl who loves going to parties. One day, Margot tells Nicole that their school is hosting a big party. She tries to convince Nicole, who has never gone to a single party before, to finally attend. Margot promises her that they'll go together and have an amazing time. Nicole hesitates at first but finally agrees after saying she will ask her father for permission. Later that day, Nicole asks Steve, and after some thought, he allows her to go. That night, the two girls attend the party. The place is full of students their age, dancing, laughing, and having fun. Nicole feels a little out of place at first, but soon she joins in. In the middle of the crowd, she notices David from a distance. David sees her too. Their eyes meet, and right away he shows interest. David doesn't waste any time. He walks up to Nicole and starts a conversation. He tells her that he liked her the moment he saw her. Nicole learns that he isn't a student at their school but works nearby. He explains that he stopped studying but keeps himself busy with different jobs. They keep talking, and David suggests they step outside. He then takes her for a drive in his car and brings her to a quiet, peaceful place. Nicole feels excited, telling him she has never been anywhere like this before. David opens up to her, saying that he really likes her and that she should be his girlfriend. Nicole feels the same way, so she doesn't think twice. From that moment, they become close. That night, Nicole returns home late. Her stepmother, Laura, becomes angry with her. Laura scolds her, saying that she doesn't respect her family, and that now that her father isn't home, she thinks she can do whatever she wants. The movie then shows us Laura waiting for Steve to return so she can tell him everything. The next day, when Steve comes home, he calls Nicole and confronts her. He tells her that she is being disrespectful and demands an explanation of where she was and who she was with. Feeling cornered, Nicole finally admits everything. She explains that she met a boy named David who lives nearby and that she really likes him. Steve listens but feels concerned. He tells Nicole that he needs to know if David is a good person or not. He explains that he doesn't want Nicole to get involved with the wrong kind of person. He then tells her that if she really wants to see David, she must bring him home so the family can meet him. Nicole has no other option, so she agrees. Later, she invites David to their house. She also asks her best friend Margot to be there. That night, Nicole introduces David to her family. Steve immediately begins asking questions. He wants to know David's age and what school he attended. David calmly explains that he is 24 years old, not a student anymore, and that he works nearby. The family sits together, trying to get to know him. But Steve doesn't like David from the start. Still, because Nicole clearly cares for him, Steve tries to find something positive about the boy. He tells David that whatever happens, he must never let Nicole come home late. But David doesn't keep that promise. One night, Nicole comes home late again. Steve gets angry, telling her she doesn't respect him or listen to his words. Furious, he orders her not to see David again. Nicole refuses to listen. Seeing this, Steve decides he should take Nicole away for a while. He plans a trip for the family. The next day, Steve tells Nicole that they should go on a vacation together, even in another country. But Nicole explains she has school and can't just leave. Meanwhile, Steve prepares to take Laura and Nicole's younger brother away. Before leaving, he warns Nicole not to go out, and if she must, to return early. But Nicole ignores her father's words. She calls David, and that night he shows up at her house. They spend time together despite Steve's warning. The next day, Nicole cleans the house to make it look as it was, then goes to school. In the afternoon, while she is talking with some guys, David spots her. The movie shows us that David is extremely jealous. When Nicole says goodbye to the boys and walks away, David suddenly appears and confronts her. He angrily accuses her of cheating on him. Without warning, David strikes her. Nicole falls back, shocked, her face swelling from the hit. She returns home crying, trying to hide the bruise with makeup. But Laura notices something is wrong. She asks Nicole what happened, and finally Nicole tells her everything. Laura then tells Nicole that if David did such a thing, if he hurt her, then he is a very bad person. She explains that Nicole must do everything she can to stay away from him. Laura warns her clearly, if she doesn't stay away from David, then she will have no choice but to tell Steve, her father, about everything. Because of this warning, Nicole tries hard to distance herself from David again. She makes up her mind that she does not want to see him anymore. David, however, doesn't take rejection well. He grows angry, even though he tries to explain to Nicole that what he did was not on purpose, that it was just a sudden mistake. But Nicole doesn't accept this. She refuses to listen to his excuses. David gets angrier and angrier, but later he decides to drive her home. When they arrive, he asks for her forgiveness. Nicole, still hurt, finally accepts his apology, and together they go inside. Once inside, they relax and even swim in the pool, laughing and having fun again as if nothing happened. But their fun doesn't last. Nicole's father Steve arrives home and is shocked to find David in the swimming pool with his daughter. Steve becomes furious. He immediately warns David not to get close to Nicole again and also tells him to stay away from his house. The next day, Steve goes looking for David. When he finds him, he warns him directly not to see Nicole anymore. Steve explains that he is serious, that something bad could happen if David continues this path. But the movie shows us that David ignores the warning completely. Later, after spending the whole day with Nicole, David drops her home. But that night, Nicole decides to surprise him. She remembers David mentioning that no one would be at his house, so she decides to go visit him. When she arrives, she is shocked. Instead of an empty house, the place is filled with people. A wild party is happening, with loud music and dozens of students everywhere. Nicole is stunned because she believed David was an honest and clean person. Seeing this scene makes her angry and confused. Looking through the door, she sees something that breaks her heart even more. Her best friend Margot is inside, drinking heavily and taking drugs. Nicole watches in shock as Margot kisses random people around her. But the worst moment comes when Nicole sees David dragging Margot into another room. At that moment, Nicole's anger and heartbreak explode. She finally realizes that David is not the good person she thought he was. The next day at school, Nicole confronts Margot. She demands to know how her best friend could betray her and be with her boyfriend. Margot looks confused. She admits she was at the party but says she doesn't remember anything because she was drunk and high. She doesn't even know who she slept with. Nicole feels even more angry and disappointed. From that day on, Nicole decides to stay away from both David and Margot. But David doesn't stop. He keeps approaching her, begging for forgiveness, but Nicole no longer accepts his apologies. Nicole then turns to her father and shows him clearly that she doesn't want to see David anymore. She asks for his help to keep David away. Steve takes action. He goes straight to David's house. When he gets there, he learns the shocking truth. Steve discovers that David doesn't live with any parents, he had lied. Instead, David lives alone, and his house is full of drugs, alcohol, and dangerous weapons like sharp blades. Steve finally understands that David is not just a bad influence, but also dangerous. From that day forward, Steve decides that he will not allow David near Nicole ever again. But David is furious. He realizes that Steve is now planning to keep Nicole away from him permanently. Filled with rage, David makes a terrifying decision. He is going to kill Steve. David gathers his gang of friends and collects sharp weapons, ready for violence. Together, they head straight for Nicole's house. Nicole and her family quickly call the police, but the officers cannot arrive in time. David and his gang reach the house first. They kill the family's bodyguard at the front door, then break inside. Once inside, they begin hunting down everyone in the house. They drag people out of their hiding spots. Nicole is eventually found, and David confronts her. But instead of admitting his crimes, he tells her he doesn't want to hurt her. He insists that he just wants her forgiveness. At that moment, Steve arrives home and finds David inside. The two men begin to fight violently. David, holding a gun, manages to pin Steve to the ground. He is about to shoot him. Nicole, terrified and furious, refuses to let this happen. She grabs a heavy piece of metal and strikes David hard from behind. David is badly injured but not finished. He gets up and continues fighting with both Steve and Nicole. Meanwhile, David's gang captures Laura and Nicole's younger brother, threatening them with weapons. The situation grows more dangerous by the second, and still the police haven't arrived. Steve, filled with rage and determination to protect his family, fights with all his strength. In a dramatic moment, he throws David out of a window. David falls violently, landing on a large stone outside. The impact kills him instantly. When his friends see David lying dead, they are shocked. Realizing the police will soon arrive, and that they will all be arrested, they quickly flee from the scene. Finally, the police arrive. They take David's body away and question the family. Steve and Laura explain everything, that they acted only to protect themselves. They also explain that David and his gang came armed with dangerous weapons. Hearing this, the police understand that the family is telling the truth. The family is cleared of blame, finally free from the nightmare that David brought into their lives. Nicole feels relieved. She has finally escaped from David's control and realizes he was never the right person for her. The movie ends by showing Nicole reuniting with her best friend Margot. After everything, the two girls find peace again. Nicole, her family, and Margot finally begin to live a calm and happy life, free from the fear that David had caused. Dear viewers, this was the full story of Fear, 1996. Let us know your thoughts about the movie down in the comments section. Until next time, when we return with another exciting movie recap, stay safe and stay tuned.